I legitimately did not know that Wish.com was not a scam website.
No, just like Temu or AliExpress, they're just marketplaces where stores can put things up on their storefront on the page.
Like Etsy at this point.
So wait, Temu is a marketplace too?
I believe so.
So is Etsy. You can do the same thing on Etsy, and you have been able to for a couple of years. That's actually been a problem for a lot of small artists on there because now they're getting they're getting outbid by essentially just Chinese drop shipped slop. Like just the cheapest stuff you can get from from wherever sends out junk.
I have bought a fair amount of stuff off of AliExpress. You just got to be careful. Here's the wild west of retail. Because like I've gotten like computer parts out of there for like dirt cheap. Picked up a couple free run figures.
I feel like it's just kind of gambling the same way you used to gamble on early days eBay.
Yeah.
Because it took them a few years to get us some of the protections they've got now.
Yeah, and like AliExpress
That's fair. eBay used to be like the Wild West. That is fair.
Yeah, and AliExpress does have buyer protection. I've had to take advantage of that because there was a pop-up store, bought something from the pop-up store, didn't ship me anything, and then I had to file the claim through AliExpress. And they gave me my money back.
Well, that's good.
Like they tried to make me go through like the seller offer thing where the seller wanted to offer me like 75% of the money I spent back. And I'm like, no.
But wait, but the seller was the one who screwed you in the first place.
Yeah, why would I do that?
Why would you do that? Why would you agree to have him send you 75%? That's like when last year I got a Vera security suite, right? I lost track of when my renewal was, and they renewed me. Obviously, they have a 60-day money-back guarantee, so they renewed me for the year. It was like $130 or whatever, and I was like, no, I don't need this service anymore. And the guy messaged me back. He emailed me back and was like, oh, well, if you'd like, I can offer you $76 back.
No.
And I'm like, what?
Well, I think what I'd like to do is offer you a credit chargeback and be done with it. Asshole.
The next email I sent him was like, I was like, help me understand this here. I'm asking you for a full refund. You offer me a refund of $76, and I'm like, what am I missing here? And he responds back to me. He goes, oh no, miss. You would get the $76 back and then be able to keep your subscription. And I'm like, no,
I don't want it.
What I want.
I don't want it.
The reason why I'm trying to cancel is because I don't want it.
I don't want it.
I don't want it. It's not a matter of the price.
No, listen. I'm returning this. It's not a matter of me of negotiating with you. And you go, oh well, you know what? Half off. How's that? How's that sound? No.
This isn't a Marrakesh bazaar.
Never before have I walked into a business to return something and they've said, we'll give you half the money you spent to not return it.
Best I can do is 50%. And it walks away with you.
And you get to keep the product.
That just shows you how much money they're actually spending on what your services are paying for. Which is not a lot.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the phone companies when they were trying to charge like 25 cents a text or something like that, when it cost the phone companies fractions of a penny to transfer the text data.
How about when this is my favorite fee, because I had to pay this before. A reconnection fee. Like I remember I got my phone shut off. And, not only do you have to pay all the late fees, the missed payment fee, but then they have to pay a reconnection charge. And I'm
Right.
like,
They have to come out to your house and turn your internet, your cell tap back. That wait. Wait,
it's
no.
like, are you serious right now? Like, for what? Who is getting paid this $35 reconnection charge? The one or the zero
CEO.
that changed?
The zero that's the CEO. That zero.
Oh, God, it's so crazy. I love overdraft fees too. It's like
Yeah.
I didn't have this money to begin with, and now you're charging me more for not. I feel like you might not understand this concept here.
We've all either been the person or have known the person who has gotten hit with the low account balance fee, which puts you negative, which hits you with the overdraft fee. Banking is great.
So my bank, I told them, don't allow automatic payments to go through anymore if I have a negative balance. If I don't have enough to cover it, don't allow it to go through. They said, oh, we can't do that. I said, what do you mean you can't do that? They said, oh, well, if a charge comes through and you don't have the money, like that's a contract you have with that company. So like we have to honor that. And we pay those out. I went, okay. Earlier this year, my account went negative by $1,000. Wouldn't you know it? They denied all the transactions after that. Suddenly that contract didn't really matter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's all just lies, people. It's all just lies.
That's why I went with a
But you know, it's not lies.
credit
This
union.
week's episode of today's theme. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am your host, Mara. Joining me today is Asherdales
Ew.
and Losternaut.
Hello.
And today's theme is a little different. I'll be honest. Due to recent events, I feel like I want to talk about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. And that is transgender people. As a transgender woman myself, I feel like this is a very important topic. And I kind of just wanted to take a moment just to kind of talk about my experience, as well as, you know, give my thoughts on a couple of the more hot button issues surrounding the transes.
Is that what
Starting
we're
with
calling them now?
everybody- the transes. Well, I think it's a very tongue-in-cheek way to refer to trans people. And it's certainly better, a whole lot better, than, and Asher, you might have to bleep this because it is a slur.
See, the way that I've always used that word, it means transmission.
Yeah.
For like, as soon as I like knew what words were, I would use that one to refer to a transmission.
Yeah, people use it to refer to me all the time. And I oftentimes have to tell those people that that is actually a slur. And
Yeah.
I understand the confusion around it.
It was thrown around
because-
pretty freely in the early 2000s, I feel like.
It was thrown around very freely in the early 2000s. And to be honest, it is also thrown around freely in the adult industry.
Yeah.
And in that industry,
Oh.
the people using it are trans creators, trans porn stars, because that is how they market their work. Because it catches the eye. So a lot of times when I tell people that it's a slur, they're actually not aware of it. Because of how proliferated it is in adult media. I mean,
It's weird because there is an analogy that I heard from Takeo Spikes, where he was talking about the N-word, and he had like this whole conversation with one of his teammates about using the N word, and like one of his teammates, the white teammate, was like, "So could like tell me the like what the difference is between me saying it and a black person saying it, like when we're coming from the same place. So like a black person, it's saying it to another black person in like the terms of respect of a of like an endearing way to refer to someone. If I refer to you that in the same meaning, like what's the difference then?"
Did he have a response?
And then Takeo was like, "Oh, I never thought of it that way." And then he stopped using the N-word.
Just as a quick aside on that note, I once met this is something that randomly popped in my head recently. Back when I worked at Yankee Candle, there was a girl that I worked with who was a school teacher, and she was a school teacher in Philadelphia, I believe. So I would oftentimes ask her about, her job and everything like that, like if she liked it and everything. And one day in particular, I asked her about the N-word because I was curious. I said, as an educator, do you allow the students to say it? Because I'm sure they do. Do you allow them to say it? And she said, honestly, she said, I don't really like the word. I refrain or, at least try to use it as little as possible. And I have a reason for that. And she said, and when I hear the kids use it, I tell them the reason I don't. And I said, oh, wow, I would love to hear the reason. She said, because the reason I don't, and the reason I don't like it all that much is, it's used in a very familial and brotherly way. It has in a sense been reclaimed. However, she said, whenever I've used it, I can't help but think about the countless number of people who look like me where that word was the last thing they heard before they died. And because of that, I don't like to use it. I was like, oh, damn. Wow. That's deep. That's deep. And I was like, and you tell your students that? She's like, yeah. Yeah. She's like, I like to get them to think about things a little bit differently. And I was like, wow, that's
normally
good.
that's the speech she has right before nap time and before recess.
Yeah, no, I think she taught like fifth graders or something like that.
I mean, I'm kidding, obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
that is a so. I mean, that is a sobering and like an understandable reason, because that is unfortunately the kind of thing that can still very much happen today. And that's
not that I've really had
such a unique take on it, and obviously delivered in a way where like she had given a lot of thought about this, and I really like that. Always stuck with me. That has always stuck with me. But getting back to the topic at hand, as far as the T word, which I think a lot of people don't realize that it's a slur, and I think a lot of that is in some part the fault of trans people, the fault of me and my community. Because I'll be honest, I have made certain bits of content that I have put out there. And I remember one time I was naming one of my videos and I typed out the word and I was like, wait, no, damn it, bitch. Like, yeah, stand on your principles. Don't take the easy way out. Like, I had to stop myself. I had to stop myself from putting it in the title of the video. And I mean, it's such an easy thing to do, and using it, definitely draws the attention. But because it's used so ubiquitously, within that, a lot of people are really surprised when they got, like, I've had people message me, because they're interested in me, and call me it in a way where, like, they obviously weren't trying to offend me, but I'm like, I have to tell them, I have to be like, by the way, fun
Yeah,
fact.
I always love it when someone's trying to be smooth and they step in their own mouth that hard.
And again, like, I try not, I mean, I'm pretty good at being able to tell when things are in good faith and when they're not. So, I don't take offense to it in those contexts, but I do always make it a point to just be like, just so you know.
Hey, you were aware, right? Like did you know this? Because I'm just letting you know.
Like, I don't blame you for not knowing. And
Like
that's
like
a lot of times I love spreading the awareness like that. I love being like, hey, I know that you said that. Don't worry, you didn't offend me, but like in the future, maybe don't say it to other members of the community.
yeah.
That brings me to another one of my favorite topics when it comes to me and mine, the good old bathroom debate. We just gotta pee, people.
I
We
don't
just
really
gotta pee.
care.
I don't understand why people do. That's what I don't get. I don't understand why people care what bathroom I go into. Because and the thing that you always hear is, well, I don't want my child seeing something that they shouldn't see. Well, in my
What?
case, we're talking about the women's room. So what is your crotch goblin doing on the floor of a
Yeah.
public restroom?
Yeah, I'd be more worried about the things that are living on the floor in a public restroom.
Yeah.
Like, why are you allowing your child to crawl underneath stalls?
I mean, most of the public bathrooms I've been in, male, female, and the various gender neutral bathrooms I've ended up using at different places, traditionally there are mostly just stalls all over the place. Unless you can stand up to pee. In most cases, you got the access to a urinal, but even then they've got dividers, and it's not normally socially acceptable to be
I haven't seen
right up against
dividers.
someone.
There's it's 50-50
I've seen
whether
dividers.
yeah, it's 50-50
Yeah,
50 on whether or not the urinals will have a divider.
yeah, you're not wrong with the divide urinals having dividers, but I mean, yeah, I've absolutely been to some bars that have a trough. Come to think of it, but like beyond that,
Yeah, baseball games they have as like sports stadiums, they'll have as many urinals lined up as they can possibly fit.
So the bathroom thing has never made sense to me. And also, that's just talking about trans femmes. Because I think people who are oftentimes over, like, in a lot of the topics that I'm gonna rant and touch on in this episode, a lot of times people who are excluded from this discussion or who are not thought about in this discussion are trans masks. Because here's the thing. For the people who say, I don't want men in a woman's bathroom, that's all well and good when you're looking at me and saying that. But go tell the trans man that. Because if you get your way, that man's going in the women's room.
yeah. Oh man, oh boy, are they going to be surprised by the dudes that walk into the women's room?
Like, that dude's going into the women's room. So by getting your way, you have placed men into the women's room. It's amazing.
I am amazed. I am constantly surprised by the hot takes based on unbelievably bad science.
Well, you got to make sure when you do the foot tap under the stall, the person on the other side is biologically male, I guess.
Would it not be gay enough if they were
I guess not.
originally born a woman? Is that the problem? Are conservative Republicans worried about the sudden influx on Grindr that they might have to compete with? Like,
It's so crazy to me. And then you'll have the people, because I've had this debate a couple times where I'm like, why are you letting your child crawl around on the bathroom stall? And it's like, well, it's not just that. They could just run in there and expose themselves. Okay, so then
Why?
we're not talking about trans people anymore. We're just
Talking about crazy
talking
people.
about we're just talking about crazy people and perverts, which are present in all walks of life.
Yeah, like there's
I
nothing
have
stopping a
literally
dude from
had
just walking into the ladies' room, other than
Exactly. Like believe me, like if some guy wants to go in and harass women in the women's room, they don't have to. He doesn't have to take hormones and dress a certain way to get in there.
although
There's no guards. There's no guards.
that just reminds me of the times when I was cross-playing at anime conventions and needing to take a pee.
Oh yeah,
Those are fun times.
the looks you must have gotten.
It's an anime convention, so it was the look of the double take going, okay, how you doing?
And that's the other thing. Like, so there was one time I went to a restaurant, I went to the bathroom, and then I was told to not use that bathroom. I was like, okay, whatever. Because I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna cause a problem and stuff like that. So I was like, all right. And plus, I don't really have to go to the bathroom all that frequently anyway. Just so happened I had to go again. So I go into the men's room. And the looks on those dudes' faces when I walked in. One of them actually said, "Miss, I think you entered the wrong door." To which I responded, "Tell the establishment that." And walked into the stall. It's so banana. We just gotta pee. And sometimes poop. Everybody poops.
Except for me.
Except for you and your
My-
weird weekly poop.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
weird
you and
digestive
your
system.
schedule. I don't have a digestive system, and I feel like that's weird.
Weird. No. Honestly, what's weirder is that he only poops once a week.
It's not like I track my bowel movements, but it's concerning the times in between bowel movements.
Do you eat a lot of cheese?
Eat a lot of rice.
Hmm.
I think that backs me up a lot.
Shouldn't have an effect.
I mean, you're not a phone. It shouldn't be drying you out. And also, typically, you go in the rice, not the rice goes in you.
I don't know why.
Like
Just
A for effort,
imagine-
but E for application.
I'm just envisioning now Asher having to go to the bathroom and then going to a giant human-sized litter box full of rice.
I did not. I just hear the endless scratching. And like finding grains of rice tracked through the house. Like this.
Damn it, Asher. Wipe your paws, for f***'s sake.
No.
Now, clean it.
I'm gonna do this in full view of you. Just butthole out.
Maintain eye contact. That's some strong eye contact.
Look you directly in the face and knock something off the table.
But yeah, I think it's terrible that people are so obsessed with what bathroom people use, and I really think that trans people should. I think I would love to hear more trans mask voices on a lot of these issues because unfortunately a lot of times these issues are centered around trans femmes and it's really only half the equation. A lot of times bigots and transphobes are really, really, really prepared and ready to fight or argue their viewpoints and stances solely based off of trans women. And I think trans men really, really throw a wrench into their whole stance. And I think it's terrible that there's just not enough. I and it's fine. I don't know why you don't see as many trans masks. I mean I know that they're out there in their sexy ass selves. Um, but it's just it's a shame. It's a big shame, especially on this issue particular, because this issue in particular, like, it's like a haymaker. When they say, I don't want to send a man into the women's room, and it's like, okay, sir, yeah, I'm sorry, but you have to use that room.
I feel
It's
like there
just
was like a meme going around a few years ago when some of the bathroom talk started getting like really popular, like that really started getting to be like a pushing point and whatnot. And I don't remember the names because they were two very apparently like very popular trans creators. And how do I put this? They were the way they had it set up was very much a like, oh, I would have thought this person or that person. Like that was the whole meme of it. Because they were basically just trying to like, oh, would you want him in the ladies' room? And it was the trans mask guy, and it was basically just this whole thing. And I got it was shared around a lot. It's like y'all know that's what.
Oh, one of my
So,
favorite. I think I've seen that meme, and the man in
yeah.
particular that was focused on it is Buck Angel.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the name Buck involved with that. I just didn't remember anything else.
Who by the way is a piece of shit.
Is he? Oh, that's a.
Oh yeah, no, he's the trans mask equivalent of Blair White.
Who?
Yeah, you're gonna need to fill me in.
Yeah.
Oh, Blair White is a right leaning is a right leaning trans femme pick me essentially. She will oftentimes denigrate other trans women for not passing. She has gone on record as saying that she's not actually a woman. And, every day she wakes up and she just plays a role.
Then
Which-
you're not trans.
So they like her because she pushes a narrative that they, okay, and they feel that
Exactly.
yeah, all right.
And you can tell. I honestly kind of feel bad for her because I feel like she feels like she has to do it. And that does not excuse the things that she says.
I mean, get in bed with wolves.
Get in bed with wolves, they're gonna eat your face. But yeah, she's also pretty awful. I remember one time I watched a debate where it was four right wing people. One of them was Blair White, and there was a cis woman who was also part of the panel, and the cis woman did nothing but relentlessly attack her to the point of saying, "You want to help the cause, Blair? You want to help the party? Grow out your beard and stop telling people you're a woman."
Oh,
And Blair didn't even defend herself. She just let that stand. Like she said nothing in opposition to that woman's savage attack on her. And I'm like, girl, really? Really? And as far as the note of, she doesn't feel, that she is playing a role, that at the end of the day, she's not really a woman. It's just it's just a costume or something that she puts on. I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but about 90% of gender is performative. Really, I mean, honestly, all of gender is performative, honestly. It's everybody's playing a role. Everybody.
I mean, some
Everybody.
people feel they need to make that role their identity.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like, gender as a spectrum, excuse me. The amount of performance within gender. I mean, it's pretty much it's a large basis of what it is. Whether you're cis or trans, you play your gender. It was just such a wild statement to make, and one that just and she made that statement on a podcast with Buck Angel, and I was like, God, the two of you just. I feel bad. I feel bad because I feel like you don't actually believe these things, but you have to say them so that you can continue your paycheck. I don't know. It makes me sad. But going back to that meme, I remember a similar meme going around where it said men should be men and women should be women, and it showed a picture of Buck Angel and Bailey J.
I think that was one of them. There was that. I think there was one that mentioned like a bathroom thing too. At least some variation of it at some point. But yeah, I think that may have been one of the ones I was talking about.
And it's so funny. I like when I like the people who always say, "Oh, we can always tell. We can always tell." No, you can't. No, you can't. Stop. You can't. And I know you can't because, especially in recent years, there have been a number of cis women that have been quote unquote transvestigated.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. It's gross.
It is gross. It is gross.
Like
I
that
mean,
whole
we saw it
concept
just
is
this past year at the Olympics.
That's right. Wait, it wasn't the Australian lady who stole the whole breakdancing.
No, you mean the greatest
competition.
breakdancer known to grace the world, Raygun?
She's suing a small theater that was putting on a parody, which it should be I think my understanding is it should be like covered under parody, but I don't know if Australia's laws are the same.
Yeah, Australia has like more like English laws as far as like defamation and speech laws like that.
Yeah.
Meaning
But the thing
you can
was
get arrested for what you say on fucking Twitter.
They were doing a parody play for charity. And Raygun is threatening to sue them if they don't pay her out more than they were trying to raise for the charity.
Well,
and now they're like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to cancel it. I'm sorry, we're sorry, guys. We can't do this.
Australia is also the country where a journalist got their house firebombed, and the government went, nothing can be done.
Oh yeah, friendly Geordies. I heard about that. That is some terrible stuff.
Yeah, he's he has house firebombed. Because he was investigating a corrupt developer, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But
yeah, I think luckily he was traveling at the time. He wasn't at home.
Yeah, he was traveling, and like the first time that they tried to firebomb his house, they firebombed the wrong house.
Oh.
What?
Oops.
How were they not arrested after the first failed firebombing?
Because corruption. Yeah, Australia has some really, really crazy, like, do nothing about corruption.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's almost everywhere these days.
It's just how blatant it is in Australia.
I, look at how blatant it's starting to be here. Like, my God.
Oh, you mean the oligarchical cabinet we have right now? And I've probably butchered that word.
It's no different from any other time in any other presidency.
I mean, no, it's still a bunch of rich assholes. It's just, the mask
And really,
is
I mean,
so
we're
It's
hard.
just
talking
that-
about corruption.
It's just
That's
that this
corruption
time,
on a federal level.
it's just
Think
that
about
this
state and
time,
local government.
it's just that this time, normal people know who they are.
Yeah, because one of them got banned from Path of Exile too.
They were public figures before they got elected as cabinet. The other cabinets were just as bad, just nobody knew who they were.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some truth to that for sure.
Everyone's all mad about the current cabinet. It's like, how's this that the only difference is that you know who Elon Musk is.
Unfortunately.
And Pete Hegsworth and Linda McMahon.
You know who they are, not from their politics, but from their other businesses.
Oh God, their TMZ must have a full like cabinet department at this point. Like they just took all of the people that were following all of those buttheads before, and put them in like one bullpen in the corner now. Here's your DC travel budget.
DC travel budget. Let's see, bringing us back to my trans pulpit here. You know, my favorite question I get asked is, my favorite question to be asked is it gay if I'm attracted to you? I answer that question the same way every time. I go, okay, well, explain that to me. What is it about me that is attractive to you? Is it the way I've done my makeup? Is it the way I have my hair done? Is it the clothes I'm wearing? Is it my manner of speech? Is it my mannerisms? Is it essentially the femininity that I am displaying and projecting and putting out there? Well, like, what specifically about me is attractive? Is it any of that? And they go, well, yeah, pretty much. And I go, oh man, I hate to break it to you then. Yeah, super gay.
Yeah.
Super gay. Every gay guy I know, super into chicks. Every single one. I say that to people. The amount of people where after I've said that, they look at me and they go, oh, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, once you start thinking about what it is that attracts you, if you're attracted to femininity, what is gay about being attracted to femininity?
I just never understood attraction just because of me. But yeah, just because like my I can understand why people are attractive. I'm just not attracted to anybody. So I don't really understand like what goes through their mind with that.
Is there no aspect of people that you, because like, you know, I mean, a lot of people find different things attractive.
I
Some
find
people
things
find
attractive.
Intelligence attractive.
I find things attractive. I just like, and I understand like that things are attractive. I'm just not attracted to them, to people.
Well, let me ask you. That. So, like, when you say like I see things that are attractive, they're just not attractive to me. When you say that, are you talking about like things that are conventionally agreed upon as attractive, or?
Yes and no.
Because like you can look at something like, you know, I can look at somebody and say they are, you know, conventionally attractive. they're not my cup of tea, but I can acknowledge that they are conventionally attractive. They have a nice face shape or, whatever. They're very symmetrical, however you want to say it. So like is it possible that maybe you're just attracted to atypical things?
No, it's whatever. Like I don't like have like a thing that I'm attracted to,
Take it or leave it.
but like I can understand that like why and how people would find aspects attractive. It's just
If I
that
can, okay.
I
To
don't
quant-
find any sexual attraction to it.
To quantify the concept, if I can use an analogy here, and this is one that I've explained before. I understand and can acknowledge that the Beatles were a good band and have really good songs. I don't like them; they're not for me.
But think of it like with kind of like all music. Like I can understand like how people would like
You
bands
see the
and certain
appeal.
things.
You don't. There's nothing
just-
you really like.
Yeah.
So and I have a question, and you don't have to answer it, but do you consider yourself, I mean, you said you don't find it sexually attractive. Do you
Yeah.
find anything romantically attractive?
No, not really.
Do you identify as Arrow Ace?
What is that?
Arrow is aromantic. Basically, you don't really have a romantic drive, and Ace is asexual.
Yeah, probably.
You
Yeah.
don't have a sexual drive.
I do have a sexual drive. It's just it's not something that like I feel the need to share with anybody. It's more like I
Interesting.
understand like it's for me it's like my brain goes it's just a biological reaction.
And do you find romanticism the same way? Like,
Yeah, it's like I well that's probably why I think that I've have a touch of the tism is that I have hard times forming emotional connections.
oh. Interesting.
Which is
You might want to look into Arrow Ace, and just kind of if you've never heard the terms before, look into it a little bit. You might find you connect with some of it.
I'm probably not going to do that because in my typical fashion, I don't really think I care enough.
Which begs the question: is it Arrow Ace or is it just apathy?
6 1/2 dozen the other. Probably
I knew you were gonna say that.
probably 50-50. It is or it isn't.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she doesn't give a shit.
I'm the living embodiment of the neutral planet. Tell my wife I said hello.
It's fascinating.
It's always funny when the rogue large language model has more emotion than an actual human.
But yeah, going back to attraction, it when I started answering that question that way, where where I started putting the focus of attraction on the actual qualities that you are attracted to and taking kind of the sexual aspect out of it, it surprised me to see how many people would just go no further than the surface level of she may have a penis, so it's gay. That's like
I mean,
that's such a
aren't there dudes that don't properly clean themselves after going to the bathroom because anything that parts the cheeks is considered gay?
What?
yes.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I remember that going around. I think it was like on Reddit for a while, or maybe it was going around like some
There was a
Reddit
bunch of
community. I
questions
remember
because
that
like
going
people were
around.
like, "Hey, my boyfriend slash husband doesn't clean themselves, and he fucking stinks."
There's a part of me that like refuses to believe that that's not satire, but at the same point in time, I'm not entirely convinced. Because like, what do you mean you don't wipe your ass?
I mean, if it's good enough for our pants shitter in chief, it's good enough for everyone else, right?
Like,
Right?
Didn't
how do you not get rashes?
Gavin Free kind of had that issue? Because he talked about that on the Rooster Teeth podcast before, where he doesn't he cleans his asshole, but he as he says, he karate chops it.
What? What?
Yeah, he takes the side of his hand and just kind of jabs it between the cheeks to clean it. And he thought that anybody who cleaned their butthole was like fingering their butthole.
This is why
This is why
why
aliens
sex
don't
ed is
contact
important,
us.
people. This is why sex ed is important.
And everyone was like, "What are you talking about?" No, you just kind of rub the soap or your soapy hand over it just to clean. You're not sticking anything in there.
Yeah, no, you're just.
And if anybody's made that mistake of actually doing that with soap on, it's not pleasant.
Also, wait. When you say his soapy hand,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Is he taking a dump and then soaping up and
No,
then?
like in the shower.
Oh, okay.
Karate chop.
Yeah, I mean, take a washcloth, like a loofah, something.
Just the bar of soap.
Just the bar of soap, like get in there. I can't. I gotta tell you, if I was ever with someone who didn't like wipe their ass after they took a shit, and then looked at me with no irony in their voice and said, "No, why would I stick paper between there? That's gay." I'd be like, "We're done here. Check, please." What do you mean? It's hygiene. Also, like, how insecure do you have to be? How insecure?
Very.
Like at that point, what that tells me is you're afraid to get that close to your butthole because you're afraid you're gonna like it, and that terrifies you.
But they're not going to think about that. They're going to get a $150,000 Ford F-150 and put truck nuts on it because they're not gay.
Truck nuts on it.
Meanwhile, they're drawing dicks on everything.
And watching football,
And wrestling.
which is totally not a gay sport.
Watching men with their names and numbers on their own backs end up in piles continuously.
I know you guys are not huge fans of Hassan, but somebody made a Hope Core edit of something he said. He was like, the gayest thing in the world is to go to the gym. Think about it. You're putting yourself in a room with a bunch of other sweaty dudes to grunt and strain and moan. And he said, actually, if you own a gym, that is the gayest thing you could possibly do. Think about it. Your entire life is centered around getting as many big burly dudes in there into that building as possible and making them sexier than they were before. What is more gay than that?
Bathhouses.
Fair.
He forgot about bathhouses.
Oh God, I remember one year I went to E3 and I went to some party for a DJ Hero game that never actually released. I think it was called like Scratch or something.
Mm.
Anyway, I met Quincy Jones. It was a great night.
Oh wow.
But I got ditched at the party because I didn't want to leave because I was actually hobnobbing. I was making a lot of friends. One of the media directors from Universal Studios invited me to her birthday party. Like it was great. It was a great time. Fortunately, I was only in LA for that week.
Aw.
But so I got ditched at the party. So I leave and it is 3 in the morning in downtown LA. I am alone and I have no idea where my hotel is.
Oh no.
I have like the vaguest idea of where my hotel is. So I
So
pull
why
out my
didn't you
phone.
call an Uber? And I
'Cause
knowing
I
that
was
this was
drunk.
during an E3, I know what the answer to this is, but go on.
I was drunk. Oh yeah, that was
Also,
the
at
other
the
thing. I was
time,
drunk. I was wasted.
did Uber even exist at that time?
I don't think it did. It certainly wasn't as if it did.
There
Lyft
it
didn't.
is.
Uber may have, but Lyft certainly didn't. And if Uber existed, it was in its infancy. So I punch it into my phone and I start walking towards my hotel. Drunk off my mind in a city that I don't know at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That sounds like a
It took
normal
me about
weekend night for me, from one of my old weekend nights.
It took me about an hour to get back to a recognizable area. And as I was walking, I passed a bathhouse. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, went to this bathhouse and got a massage and took a soak in a hot tub.
Sounds like a pretty good
I
night.
think it actually was. It was a great night.
I mean, shit, 24-hour bathhouse. Oh, you can soak hot tubs. I'm in.
Then you'll have to go on the rice.
I will have to go in the rice, yes.
And
I just
me,
save a small backup copy of me onto a flash drive, toss me in.
And me, the sweet little nugget that I was, I didn't think about anything like unorthodox or untowards about like my visit or my trip. Like I had like no ulterior motive, and it didn't dawn on me.
I don't think they have orthodox bathhouses.
It didn't dawn on me until about halfway through my time there that I was like, "Oh shit, this." Oh no. Oh no.
Aren't Orthodox bathhouses just Turkish bathhouses?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if a Turkish bathhouse. I don't know if. I don't know if every Turkish bathhouse is an Orthodox.
I'm
Turkish
just making a
bathhouse.
joke.
Should have known. Second
Yep.
Orthodox got thrown around.
Now I'm just thinking of an Amish bathhouse, and I'm confused. Like, how would they heat the water?
Fire.
Fire, yeah.
I was thinking horses.
I mean, that's how.
I don't think they burn real well, though.
Not enough fat.
They're too meaty. They're too meaty. Yeah, that was such a strange experience. My 4 a.m. tryst to I think it was a Korean bathhouse, actually, as well. I remember there being a lot of Asian people there. Yeah. That's crazy. What crazy. What a crazy night. I can't believe I don't know how. Oh yeah, bathhouses, because bathhouses are more gay than owning a gym. But yeah, I love getting the question of, is it gay if I'm attracted to you? Like, no. No, it is not. I gotta be honest with you. I've been to the neighborhood. I've been to gay bars. Those guys don't talk to me. They don't talk to me. They have nothing. I have nothing they're interested in.
Mm.
I remember the last time I went to a gay bar. I went with my friend at the time, my cousin, and my other friend, and we were sitting on the third floor of this bar, the bike stop, and we're sitting there drinking our drinks, and my friend Rachel takes a drink of hers, and she goes, "Can we go somewhere where someone will buy me a drink?" And I was like, "Yes, can we?" Like, this is bullshit. um, I guess kind of the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on with this is kind of a message to um, any trans folks that we might have listening. Um, I know that right now seems like a really dark time for us. And I think in these times, it's important to remember a couple of truths. And those are that we have existed since the beginning of civilization. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The reason that you don't hear
From
about
about
a lot of trans people.
11,600 BC.
Wait, what was that?
Technically speaking, probably from around 11,600 BC.
Is that when civilization started?
That's like the last like ice event that really happened.
I see.
Last ice age.
So-
Is that
Yeah.
where the ice wall came from?
You mean Antarctica?
Yes.
Anyways,
We have been here since then. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise because they're wrong. There are countless cultures that, maybe they weren't called trans, but they were trans people that existed under a different name. That, maybe they were called, I know, some indigenous cultures called them two-spirit, I know some ancient cultures had their own terms for it. Regardless of the term, the fact of the matter is we've been here just as long. The reason you don't hear about it is because throughout that history, we've been demonized, killed, and records of us have been destroyed. And that's why it's so easy for people to say, well, transgenderism, which I hate that term. Transgenderism was invented in the late 2020s or 2010s. Like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And that's something that brings me to the next truth to always keep in mind. As bad as it is right now, and as much as it seems like the world is out to get us, in my opinion, and this is I cannot stress enough how hard it can be to see this. But in my opinion, there has never been a better or beneficial, positive time for trans people than right now. Hormone access is more widely available than it has ever been in the history of mankind. Medical ability to medically transition has never been as good as it is now. Socially, there has never been I don't think there has been a time where trans people and trans society and culture has been more accepted than it is now. Obviously, sometimes it can be really hard to see that. But if you look for it, it is there. There are trans celebrities, trans actors that I had no idea about, that I actually had other people tell me about in shows that I had watched and didn't know. There are children, grade school, high school, There are kids in school now that have trans friends and trans classmates for probably the first time in history. For as dark as it is right now, I think despite that, we stand in a better place than we ever have historically. We have made our presence known. We have made our existence, we have cemented our existence. And unlike in our past, I do not believe it will be so easy to erase it. I think we've hit a point where Pandora's box has opened, and without the committal of a number of atrocities, there's no putting it back in the box. So, just as a message to any who may be out there listening, don't despair. Try to focus on the benefits of the time in which you are alive now. And don't ever let anybody take that away from you. And with that, you have wasted yet another perfectly good hour listening to us here at today's theme. Thank you so much for listening. And please, if this episode has hit you in such a way, please let us know down in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, hit that noti bell. I would love, if we do have any trans listeners, I would love to hear from you. And even more to that point, to anybody who has any questions about trans topics, I welcome them. Some of my favorite interactions that I've had with the general populace is interactions that I've had with bigots and transphobes, because oftentimes, once I have a dialogue with them, I have changed minds. I have changed viewpoints. And if you are so strong in your belief in anti-trans beliefs, I would love to challenge them. You can absolutely feel free to send me a message at moxymara@gmail.com, moxymara@gmail.com. That is for anybody who would like to reach out. As I said, thank you for listening, and stay safe out there. I've been Mara.
I've been Asher.
I've been Lost or Not.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.